Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 239 based on novel. So let's start. As the roar echoed, Wang Lin's expression turned pale. He felt pain in his origin soul, as if it was being torn apart. If he still had the ancient god leather armor on, it wouldn't have been this strong, but the pain right now caused blood to come out of his orifices. Feeling a sense of danger, Wang Lin let out a wry smile and slapped his bag of holding. The ancient god leather armor appeared and shrouded his origin soul. It was as if a barrier was suddenly formed around his ears. Although the roar was still strong, the impact on his origin soul had been reduced to a point where Wang Lin could withstand it. However, the aura coming from the ancient god leather armor caused all the tentacles on the smaller moongazer serpents to wiggle in excitement. They all rushed toward Wang Lin like crazy. Wang Lin's scalp felt numb. He was stuck in a difficult situation. If he took off the leather armor, his origin soul would collapse under this roar. However, if he wore the leather armor, it would attract large amounts of small moongazer serpents. After letting out a sigh, Wang Lin's expression suddenly changed as a cold aura came from the soil in front of him. A crack suddenly appeared and a moongazer serpent more than 100 feet long rushed out toward Wang Lin. From Wang Lin's view, its large mouth wasn't simply going to devour the aura from the leather armor. After 1,000 years of cultivation, Wang Lin didn't have the habit of comforting himself. He didn't think that the moongazer serpent was going to recognize him as its owner just because of the ancient god aura. At this moment, Wang Lin's expression became serious, his eyes became cold, and he quickly retreated. The moongazer serpent rushed toward him and constantly devoured the aura coming out from Wang Lin's body. Cultivators couldn't feel this aura, and those beasts with inheritances from ancient times were unable to detect it. Only a few creatures aside from the moongazer serpents could detect an ancient god's aura. Wang Lin's eyes became even colder. It was likely that when this moongazer serpent was devouring the ancient god's aura, it would devour him as well. Just as he retreated, an even colder aura surrounded the area. Wang Lin's expression became even more gloomy and he immediately changed directions. A crack appeared in the earth behind where he was and a 1,000-foot moongazer serpent rushed out. This moongazer serpent had all of its tentacles wrapped around its body and its mouth open wide as if it was very excited. There were even large amounts of saliva coming out from its mouth as it tried to devour Wang Lin. Wang Lin changed his direction as cracking sounds came from all directions. More than 10 cracks appeared and different-sized moongazer serpents charged at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes were calm. As he retreated, origin energy gathered in his body and then suddenly surged out. This created a vortex that collapsed, causing him to retreat even faster. A large number of moongazer serpents was chasing after him. These moongazer serpents' eyes were filled with excitement, but underneath them were terrifying glares. They wanted to devour the aura of the leather armor. Even more, they want to devour Wang Lin so they could forever have that aura that excited them. Wang Lin's scalp went numb as he was chased by the moongazer serpents. He revealed a wry smile and then stopped. Hundreds of cracks appeared before him and moongazer serpents rushed out. Combined with the ones behind him, the large group of moongazer serpents trapped him. Just as these moongazer serpents charged out to devour Wang Lin revealed a vicious gaze and a loud roar echoed through the moongazer serpent's body. As the roar echoed, all of the smaller moongazer serpents charging at Wang Lin stopped. They retreated, creating a passage. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed, but just at this moment, cracking sounds appeared. A large moongazer serpent suddenly came through the passage. It was too fast and the aura it gave off was no weaker than the blood ancestors. At this instant, it caused Wang Lin's expression to change greatly. As that moongazer serpent rushed out with an incredible speed, it directly swallowed Wang Lin. It then quickly drilled into the earth and left. All of the moongazer serpents followed after it into the distance. That moongazer serpent was grey and its eyes were filled with ruthlessness. It was too fast, especially inside its mother's body. In only 5 minutes, they arrived at a mysterious place. There was no soil here, only a large vortex. Every time it completed a cycle, it would release bursts of cold energy into the surrounding area. If Wang Lin could see the vortex, he would recognize that this was where the head of the Moongazer serpent was located. I was also where the moon essence was located. After arriving here, the Moongazer serpent suddenly opened its mouth and spat. Wang Lin was immediately launched out. He didn't even have any chance to resist before he disappeared into the vortex. The large amount of Moongazer serpents lied down and remained motionless. Inside the vortex, after Wang Lin entered, his eyes lit up. The moment he was swallowed by the Moongazer serpent, a mysterious power immediately entered his body and stopped his origin energy from operating. It was as if his origin soul was cut from his body and he had gone from a cultivator to a mortal. This caused Wang Lin's mind to shake greatly. However, he immediately noticed that the ancient god leather armor gave off a suction force that immediately absorbed this mysterious power. As a result, his origin energy resumed operation. After Wang Lin was thrown into the vortex, he was finally able to clearly see around him. What he saw made him suck in a breath of cold air and he was shocked. This was a long and narrow space. Tentacles were sticking out from the void and were slowly swaying. Wang Lin saw a large furnace bound by countless tentacles as if they were absorbing its aura. A large bulge would occasionally move through the tentacles. This furnace was the one that belonged to greed. This furnace only made Wang Lin suck in a breath of cold air. What shocked him were the people entangled by the tentacles. These people were all naked and very thin. There were male and female, old and young, all densely packed. Almost every tentacle was wrapped around a person. All of these people's eyes were closed and there was almost no vitality from their bodies, as if they were corpses. The tentacles wrapped around them were clearly absorbing their vitality. Wang Lin didn't know any of them. He could vaguely feel that not all of them were cultivators, there were mortals among them. For example, the boy that looked to be only 6 or 7 years old. Although his body was completely dried up, Wang Lin was still able to tell that he was a child. At this moment, he was only skins and bones without any sign of life. His face still maintained an expression of extreme pain and despair. A chill appeared inside Wang Lin's heart and surrounded him. His gaze went into the depths of this area, and it was endless. Wang Lin could imagine that there were more tentacles there and that every tentacle had a person entangled. Moongazer serpent, Wang Lin silently pondered. He could have guessed these people were gathered by the Moongazer serpent over the countless years and became a source of life for the Moongazer serpent. There was even a terrifying idea inside Wang Lin's mind. Back when the Moongazer serpent was planet Yunxia, there were ruins of cities on it. Planet Yunxia once had cultivators and mortals. Did they really move away? Wang Lin took a deep breath and revealed a complicated expression. His gaze was still on the boy. Just at this moment, countless tentacles appeared in the void and moved like lightning toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. If he didn't have the ancient god leather armor, he would be like these mortals. He wouldn't be able to resist at all as the tentacles sucked away his life. However, right now killing intent appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. He didn't touch the tentacles but quickly dodged and charged toward the large furnace. Unless he had to, Wang Lin wasn't willing to destroy these tentacles. If he did so and was detected by the Moongazer serpent, it might do something new. As he rushed out, the tentacles missed. Wang Lin's body was like smoke when he arrived near the large furnace. The furnace gave off an ancient aura that slowly spread out. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. The aura inside the furnace was even stronger. The tentacles around the furnace were only wrapped around the surface as if they were unwilling to go inside. At this moment, countless more tentacles appeared in the void and headed toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin didn't hesitate and went directly into the furnace. Just as he went inside, a powerful force came out from the vortex at the entrance. Shortly after, a woman's charming shadow appeared inside the vortex. Her face was pale and her eyes were closed. She had clearly lost consciousness. As soon as she appeared, half of the tentacles went after her. They wrapped her up and continued to absorb her vitality. The moment Wang Lin entered the furnace, he was able to clearly see the woman's appearance. She was Yao Bingyun. Yao Bingyun's clothes showed traces of corrosion as the tentacles wrapped around her. Even her bag of holding wasn't able to escape and had collapsed. Yao Bingyun's clothes were in tatters, revealing large amount of skin. At this moment, her eyelashes trembled and she opened her eyes. Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he went inside the furnace. The space inside the furnace was limited and Wang Lin immediately began to operate the origin energy inside his body. The tentacles that extended toward him wrapped around the furnace. However, they didn't dare to enter the furnace and only stayed outside of it. Wang Lin let out a sigh of relief. This place could only be considered temporarily safe. He began pondering and ignored everything outside. Then he sat down and began cultivating with his eyes closed. The moment he closed his eyes, there was a flicker in his shadow and Tarshan walked out. Tarshan sat down, and if there were any signs of trouble, he would immediately act. While Wang Lin sat there, he felt exhaustion in his heart. Ever since he entered the Thunder Celestial Realm, he had been in a state of high alert. After he left the Thunder Celestial Realm, he was sent into the Nether Beast and was only able to leave after a gruesome battle. Originally, he planned to find Li Yun to study restrictions and rest a bit after leading the chosen immortal clan to planet Qinglin. However, that happened after what forced Wang Lin to be ruthless and fight. The Yao family's pursuit and the participation of other cultivation families forced Wang Lin to flee. Although he held the advantage, a situation where a moment of carelessness would lead serious injuries or his death was very exhausting. This had been building up inside his body, and now that he was sitting inside this furnace, he was finally able to relax a little. The cultivators outside must have suffered heavy casualties under the Moongazer Serpent's attack. I believe there won't be any more people hunting me for a short period of time. Even if they come, they can't come into the Moongazer Serpent's body and find me. Although this place is dangerous, it is also very safe. Wang Lin's eyes were closed as the origin energy cycled through his body and slowly nourished his origin soul. As his origin energy cycled inside his body, there were bursts of pain coming from his origin soul. He had faced many crises during this period of time. If not for the ancient god leather armor, he would have died many times already. The cruelty of the cultivation world, where your life could end at any moment, couldn't move Wang Lin's Dao heart. He was already used to such experiences due to his time in the Alliance star system. It could be said that this kind of experience had accompanied him for most of his life. Yao Bingyun's spell damages the origin soul too much. If it wasn't for the ancient god leather armor, Wang Lin opened his eyes and there was a flash of coldness from within his eyes. His body wasn't damaged much, it was mostly his origin soul. Although, thanks to the ancient god leather armor, it wasn't too serious. Now that he had calmed down, he became immersed in his cultivation. Countless tentacles swayed outside the furnace. Near the vortex, Yao Bingyun didn't panic and instead was calm. When she was escaping from the Moongazer Serpent, she was devoured by a large Moongazer Serpent. A mysterious power immediately entered her body and separated her origin energy from her body, turning her into a mortal. Shortly after, she lost consciousness. When she awakened, she found herself here. The tentacles here wrapped tightly around her. A cold sensation came from the tentacles and flowed through her body. The origin energy inside her body was being slowly drained. This process wasn't fast, but it never stopped. Yao Bingyun's eyes were calm. She had always pursued Dao and had a calm personality. Even though she was aware of the loss of origin energy, she knew that panicking wouldn't help. Only by remaining calm could she find a way to escape. However, when she saw her surroundings, her face immediately turned pale. The dried-up people wrapped within the countless tentacles almost caused Yao Bingyun's calmness to collapse. After a long time, she took a deep breath to force herself to calm down. She found that the tentacle wrapped around her wasn't only absorbing her origin energy but also her vitality. Eyes closed. Yao Bingyun silently pondered for a moment. Her heart was calm as she closed her eyes. Ears shut. Her body trembled slightly as her ears were closed off and isolated everything outside. Breath disappear. At this moment, Yao Bingyun's body relaxed and her breath disappeared. Seal soul. Her origin soul had completely stopped moving. Although it was separated from her origin energy, Her origin soul had sealed itself into a very mysterious realm. Seal existence. Everything that was alive had an existence. At this moment, Yao Bingyun decisively sealed her existence. All the vitality disappeared from her body. She floated there like a corpse. Yao Bingyun had already reached the seal existence level of the Soul Seal celestial spell. Talent doesn't have much of a role in cultivating this spell. Instead, it has a very strict requirement on the Tao heart so that one doesn't get lost within the spell. After sealing herself completely, cracking sounds came from inside her body. A thin layer of ice appeared from inside her body and quickly spread. The ice crystal sealed the tentacle that was wrapped around her as well. The cold energy from her body became stronger and stronger as the ice gradually increased. In the end, more than 3 feet of ice surrounded her. She was half naked and sealed inside the ice. Her expression was extremely calm and would make one's heart race. Time slowly passed. There was no sign of days passing inside the Moongazer serpent's body. The Moongazer serpent's large body slowly wandered through the northern domain. On this day, the Moongazer serpent stopped. This was deep in the northern domain. There weren't many stars here and there were no cultivation planets nearby. After the Moongazer serpent stopped, its body slowly rolled up and became a cultivation planet once more. The countless tentacles around it contracted and large amount of black fog came out, surrounding the planet. The tentacles became shorter and shorter until they were only 1,000 feet long. They swayed around on the surface of the planet and the surroundings became tranquil once more. Inside the mysterious and narrow space inside the Moongazer serpent's body, Wang Lin opened his eyes. Injuries to the origin soul weren't easy to heal. After cultivating this whole time, he had only recovered 80%. Wang Lin's eyes were like lightning as he looked at the furnace surrounding him. The furnace contained a very strong ancient god aura. Although it was constantly being absorbed by the Moongazer serpent, it was still very strong. The Moongazer serpent didn't kill me but threw me here. Aside from absorbing vitality, this is also where the Moongazer serpent absorbs ancient god aura. Wang Lin began contemplating. It was obvious that whenever this large Moongazer serpent found some person or thing with ancient god aura, it would throw it in here. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he muttered, "That means there must be other things related to the ancient god here." Wang Lin's eyes revealed a mysterious light as he raised his hand and pressed it against the wall of the furnace. His divine sense quickly went into the furnace. Since greed can make it his own, then I can as well. Wang Lin's divine sense entered the furnace. At this instant, he immediately felt a powerful suction force pulling his origin soul. Wang Lin was prepared for the suction force. This was clearly from the tentacles wrapped around the furnace. His origin soul was firm like a solitary boat in the raging waves as he struggled to enter deeper into the furnace. Wang Lin's divine sense gradually spread across the furnace while enduring the suction force and left his imprint. However, he didn't gain any feeling that he could control it. Wang Lin frowned and didn't give up. His divine sense spread across the furnace again, and he left his imprints inch by inch. This process was extremely slow. He had to resist the suction force while he did it, which was very difficult for Wang Lin given his cultivation level. Time slowly passed, but Wang Lin didn't stop. As he continued to imprint on the furnace, he seemed to find some clues. There was a rune carved on the corner on the outside of the furnace. This rune was very complex, and although it was carved on the furnace, it wasn't carved very deep. From the surface, it was very difficult to detect with the naked eye. Even with divine sense, unless one searched bit by bit like Wang Lin, it would be impossible to notice it. There was still a trace of divine sense imprinted on this rune. After Wang Lin's divine sense examined it, his eyes immediately turned cold. He could clearly feel a trace of greed's aura on that imprint. Greed isn't dead. Wang Lin's eyes became cold and gradually calmed down after a long time. Greed isn't dead. His imprint is still there, so I can't control the furnace. But if his imprint is there, why can I still imprint on this furnace? As Wang Lin pondered, he suddenly thought about the rune greed's imprint was on. This giant furnace was refined and thrown away by an ancient god. In the ancient god's memories, there was only the appearance of the furnace and no method of using it. After all, the memory inheritance I obtained was not complete. Wang Lin's divine sense spread across the furnace and began observing the rune. After a long time, his eyes gradually lit up. Although he was hostile toward greed, right now he couldn't help but feel a trace of admiration toward greed. This greed is really talented. It's obvious that he didn't know how to use this furnace when he first obtained it and was unable to control it. So he managed to get this unknown rune that he carved onto the furnace and connected it to some of the abilities inside. What he actually manipulated was this rune, and by controlling this rune, he was able to use some of the furnace's abilities. Wang Lin took a deep breath and without any hesitation all of his divine sense gathered toward that rune. After wiping out greed's divine sense imprint, this furnace will return to its original owner. Wang Lin's eyes were filled with excitement. Just as his divine sense was about to wipe out greed's divine sense, his expression suddenly changed and his divine sense stopped. His divine sense rapidly withdrew from the furnace back into his body. Wang Lin formed seals with his hand and pressed it on his chest several times. His aura completely disappeared and he left a trace of divine sense to observe what was happening outside. A cold aura quickly filled the narrow space. The source of this cold aura was a thin person wrapped by the tentacles. This person was an old man. Originally, there was no vitality inside his body, but as the cold aura filled the area, a powerful surge of vitality filled his body. This vitality was so strong that it made the old man's body blow up like a balloon. However, the strange thing was that the old man's eyes were still closed without any signs of opening. When Wang Lin's divine sense saw this, his mind shook. Thanks to his cultivation level and life and death domain, he could clearly see that there was a hint of death aura within that vitality. However, the death aura was completely suppressed by the vitality. As the vitality increased, the old man's body became bigger and bigger. There was a series of popping sounds as the bones in the old man's body shattered as if they wouldn't able to withstand this force. As a result, without the bones connecting, everything ballooned up even more. Cold energy spread out like crazy from its body, causing the surrounding area to be filled with cold energy. Even the tentacles slowly retreated. Just as the old man's body expanded to a certain size, almost a ball of flesh, a bulge appeared. This bulge quickly moved through the old man's body. Muffled yet sharp cries came from inside the old man's body. Wang Lin was very familiar with this sound. The moment Wang Lin heard it, his expression became extremely ugly. Just at this moment, the old man's body trembled and a crack appeared on his body. A large amount of cold energy came out from the crack, then a sharp roar came from within the body as if it was very excited. The countless tentacles all began to sway as if they were welcoming the birth of their own kind. After an instant, a 20-foot-long slender object came out from the crack in the old man's body. It constantly twisted its body until the old man's body finally exploded. There was no flesh or blood, only a burst of cold energy. Then the 20-foot-long thing shot out. This shocked Wang Lin as it was a small moongazer serpent. This moongazer serpent was obviously a newborn, and all the tentacles on its body were transparent. After it appeared, it immediately turned around and inhaled the old man's collapsed body. The old man's body seemed to melt and was devoured by the small moongazer serpent. It continued to wiggle its body as it absorbed the cold energy nearby. Its body quickly grew from 20 feet to 100 feet long. The tentacles around its body slowly turned dark red and it suddenly became ferocious. With its body wiggling, it moved like lightning toward the vortex ahead. There was no obstruction when it passed through the vortex. After the moongazer serpent left, the tentacles gradually returned to normal. The cold energy slowly disappeared as it was absorbed by the tentacles. Everything returned back to normal, but there was one person missing. The tentacles that were wrapped around the old man slowly retreated and disappeared into the void. Wang Lin's eyes opened and he gasped. No wonder there are so many moongazer serpents. According to Two Size memories, if a moongazer serpent stays out of an ancient god's body for too long, it will without a doubt die. However, not only did this moongazer serpent not die, it has been using the bodies of cultivators and mortals to form new life. It has almost formed a life cycle. This moongazer serpent must have undergone an astonishing change over the countless years, or else this would be impossible. Wang Lin had a very good understanding of the moongazer serpent, and right now he was able to guess 70% to 80% of what happened. He silently pondered for a while. After everything quieted down, his divine sense spread out once more toward the rune on the furnace. Once he enveloped the rune, Wang Lin's eyes became cold and his divine sense mercilessly collided with Greed's divine sense. Even at Greed's peak, his cultivation level was almost on par with the current Wang Lin. Given that he was seriously injured, his imprint was extremely weak. After being attacked by Wang Lin's divine sense, it didn't take long for it to collapse. The moment Greed's divine sense was wiped out, Wang Lin didn't hesitate to leave his own imprint on the rune. Greed experienced an almost certain death situation to obtain this large furnace. He knew it was a treasure, but he couldn't control it. At some point, he thought of an elaborate method to control it and spent over 1,000 years to obtain the rune. He had carefully engraved the rune on the furnace to control it, but now all of this benefited Wang Lin. As his divine sense imprinted on the rune, a strange feeling appeared within Wang Lin. This was a very familiar feeling and a connection occurred with it and the ancient god leather armor. However, this feeling was like a flower in the mist, very vague. It was as if there was a layer separating it from him and he couldn't completely grasp it. Wang Lin knew the method he was controlling the furnace with was wrong and was merely taking a shortcut like Greed. Although this gave him basic control, it wouldn't let me use the full power of the furnace. However, Wang Lin wasn't in a rush. His eyes lit up and he muttered, "As long as I return to the Alliance star system, this furnace will display its true power in the hands of my original body." Then both of his hands formed seals according to the vague feeling he had. With a thought from his divine sense, the furnace shook and released a hum. A ripple spread from the furnace and white gas came out. This white gas was very dense and surrounded Wang Lin. At this moment, Wang Lin felt like he was one with the furnace. This was a very wonderful feeling. It was as if he was the furnace. With a thought, Wang Lin softly said, "Change position." After he said those two words, the furnace shook and disappeared. When it reappeared, it was outside of the tentacles' entanglement. What was strange was that the tentacles didn't move and maintained their original position. It was as if to them, the furnace was still there. Wang Lin's body came out from the furnace and the white gas followed him. At this moment, he looked like a celestial riding on a cloud. Then Wang Lin's eyes lit up and landed on Yao Bingyun. When his divine sense was spreading across the furnace before, he noticed Yao Bingyun. However, he was focused on imprinting the furnace, so he didn't get a closer look. Now that he had obtained the furnace, he had time to observe her. Through the ice, Yao Bingyun's half-naked body gave off a strange sense of beauty. Yao Bingyun was already beautiful, but with her eyes closed, she didn't give off the coldness she once did. Instead, it was a lovely feeling. However, none of this had any effect on Wang Lin, and his eyes were as calm as water. This woman's cultivation method is indeed strange. Even when her origin energy was separated from her, she was still able to protect herself. She sealed off everything inside her body, so the moongazer serpent can't absorb anything. However, she underestimated the moongazer serpent. Although this method works, I can guess that this ice will collapse not too long from now. Wang Lin's eyes were cold as he pondered, then he raised his right hand and pressed down toward the ice. "You have been hunting me all this time and almost killed me twice. If I don't get my revenge, then I won't be Wang Lin." Wang Lin revealed a smile and mercilessly pressed down on the ice. A large amount of the origin energy inside his body surged out through his finger and into the ice. There was a loud crackling sound and large amount of cracks began appearing on the ice with Wang Lin's finger as the center. The cracks stopped 1 inch away from Yao Bingyun's body and couldn't continue. As Wang Lin stared at Yao Bingyun inside the ice, his eyes became cold. More origin energy from his body surged to his finger and entered the ice. As the cracking sounds echoed, Wang Lin didn't stop. He continued to move around Yao Bingyun and pointed at different spots. Large amounts of ice fell off until there was only 1 inch of ice around Yao Bingyun. This woman must be among the best of Yao family's 3rd generation. Since the Yao family wants to kill me, then I'll refine her into a celestial guard. Even if it fails, it won't matter. Wang Lin's heart was extremely decisive. As long as it was an enemy, he would show no mercy. Even if the enemy was an extreme beauty, he would feel no pity. Moreover, even though she was beautiful, she still couldn't compare to Liu Mai. This is all karma. If you hadn't hunted me, then this wouldn't be happening today. Wang Lin opened his mouth and spat out essence origin energy that directly circled the ice around Yao Bingyun. As it grinded away at the ice, his right hand constantly pointed to the ice. Cracking sounds echoed once more, and the ice around her began to crack. In truth, if her origin energy was present when she used this spell, Wang Lin wouldn't have been able to destroy it so easily. However, because her origin energy was separated from her, it gave Wang Lin this chance. Yao Bingyun would have never expected Wang Lin to be here with her. Moreover, she wouldn't have expected Wang Lin to keep his origin energy due to the ancient god leather armor and be able to move about freely. Just as the ice around Yao Bingyun began to collapse, she slowly opened her eyes and looked at Wang Lin. This video will end here.